Hi, it's Scott here today, and here with Dan Tappin from Simply House and On Time Watches. How you going, Don?
Hi, Scott.
Hey, Don, I got you here today. I want to do a bit of an interview. You're one of our Inside Club members and one of our successful Inside Club members. And this interview series, I guess we're wanting to share some tips, three tips in particular, on what you're doing in your business and how our members or people that we're dealing with can use that information to be more successful. So, hey, I really appreciate the time that you've taken here today to help us out and to help people that are watching. So, first question is, I know you guys have been talking about Facebook, and I guess explain a wee bit about your business first, just for people that don't know it, but then explain about Facebook and how you're using that right now to generate business for your company.
Well, we've set up a Facebook page to address our retail side of our business over the web.
Yep.
And we chose Facebook over email for retail sales because people on Facebook are more engaged. It's an engaged community. They want to belong to it, and they're nosy and they like being involved, and they like that information. They like getting information from you, so they don't delete it like they would in email.
So you've got a couple of sides of your business, obviously, with On Time Watches and Simply House. You've got a wholesale side and you've got a retail side. So you're targeting Facebook and using that to bring people into your retail side of your business?
Yeah, absolutely. First promotion we've done on Facebook is for nurses' watches.
Yep.
So we've actually targeted, and my daughter-in-law who's setting it up for me, she's targeted people that are nurses. She's got them belonging to Facebook. They've told their friends who are nurses and so forth, and then that community grows.
Brilliant. So basically, through a word-of-mouth community, you're building quite a strong community of retail people that want to buy your watches, and it's quite targeted as far as each campaign that you're doing targets a certain sector of the marketplace.
Oh yeah, for sure. And and it grows. It doesn't grow one. A nurse doesn't tell one nurse who tells another. It'll grow from 1 to 2 to 20 to 100 to 500.
Yeah.
And it just blossoms out quite quickly, really.
Yeah, that's interesting. And to get that sort of exposure, just using normal types of marketing would be, one, very costly, and probably not have the same impact, because Facebook is a community. Are you finding you're getting better quality of people coming on because they're actually having to become a member or like your fan page and your Facebook page, which pretty means they've got to be interested. You're not going to like it unless you're interested in that type of information.
Anyone you're selling to, if you can get them to do something, no matter what it is, like you on Facebook, if you get them to actually physically do something, that you really are a long way into being high up in their confidence to make a purchase.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that from your retail days. If you could get someone to take an action as soon as they meet you, they're a lot more likely to become a buyer and become a customer long term.
Oh, it's all about engagement, yeah. Yeah.
And is that probably the number one thing you see from Facebook? It's actually getting people engaged.
I think so, and it's people that want to be. Yeah, and it's quite different. It's fairly new for us, so it's early days, but I've got pretty high hopes for that as a retail tool for our marketing. Yeah.
So early days, but have you seen any results, any sales coming from it?
Yeah, sure. Sales are coming through from it now.
That's brilliant. So and you weren't using that strategy probably 3-4 months ago. You've only just started using it. Yeah,
the only thing we used to do for our retail over our website was from the email addresses that we had from people who had purchased of us or people that register on our website. We have about 800 odd people there, I think, and intermittently would send out some email campaigns to them, but if the people aren't on the market for that product at the particular time, it's much more difficult.
Yeah. We're here, they can become a part of your community and get your updates, etc. So, hey, that's fantastic. So Facebook's working really well, and you would recommend it to other people to use?
I think it's critical that people use Facebook, because you actually can also find out a bit about your own company, and because people will tell you things, and you need to know that as well.
Well, I think that's probably the number one thing for a lot of companies is I see Facebook as word of mouth on steroids. The community's there and if they have a problem, they can quickly. I know this is a classic example, real life example. Yesterday, a business partner of mine or a colleague that I work with had an issue with Air New Zealand yesterday, so he puts it out on Facebook. Facebook sucks. A friend of his actually knows the general manager or the chairman of Air New Zealand. Texts him and says, hey, do you want me to sort this out? He then got a phone call from the chairman of Air New Zealand, or the general manager of Air New Zealand yesterday, because of his Facebook post. Because this guy is well known, he has 5,000 odd fans. For him to say Air New Zealand sucks, it's a big deal. So that was quite an interesting situation. This guy's probably flown 60 times in the last 2 weeks I'd say last 2 months with Air New Zealand. So he's a reasonable customer, but something happened, so he couldn't get into the corridor lounge. But it just shows you how quickly. Now, if he'd got on the radio and said Air New Zealand sucks, no one would have cared. You know, but word of mouth on steroids. When people in this community say the bad things about your business, at least the good thing about from Air New Zealand's point of view, they were able to go and deal with the problem like that, you know, and where they couldn't have in the past, you know, because they just don't have that opportunity.
And that's what you got to do. You need to know those things, because if people aren't telling you some bad things about your business, they're just not telling you, because there's always bad things about your business. And if they do tell you, you've got to fess up, do your apology, and put it right. And then everyone loves you for it.
Yeah, exactly. Too right. Hey, well, I appreciate that. That's a great strategy. So, hey, guys, if you're listening and you're looking at Facebook and you're thinking, well, should I dip my toe in? Maybe take some advice from what Don has done there and implement it as a strategy, another marketing pillar in your business. Remember, the worst number in marketing is 1. So if you're only using one marketing strategy, you know, really you need to look at yourself and look at your business. You need to use more marketing pillars. Facebook is another pillar that you need to add. Okay, so let's not look at number 2. Number 2 for me is one of my passions, and that's direct mail. I wanted to talk to you about that because you're doing it so well and you're getting some great results. So maybe talk about what's happening with direct mail.
Yeah, we still do a lot of direct mail. This month alone we'll have 2 direct mail campaigns, both here and in Australia.
Wow.
And it's a hugely successful tool for us, provided we do the add-ons with it.
Yep.
And we don't just do direct mail, we do direct mail. We also take exactly that same flyer and we convert it to a web document, and we email it out to our clients, and we actually include a video clip on those now as well.
Awesome.
And then we have a telemarketer, one that used to work for Andreas and Scott, now works for us.
She's become a very busy lady.
And she phones all these people up as well. And that's just one day earlier this week, Anne would have, who's the telemarketer, she would have phoned our office 20 times with requests from customers, with orders from that side of the business, and not just what we were marketing.
Yeah.
They say, oh, while you're on the phone, I'll buy this and so forth. But if you direct mail, you add all those other things onto it, and it's one thing I learned from you guys right at the start. You've got to have 5, 7 contacts for the one campaign to make it totally effective. Once you get better known, you can probably use 3 or 4 contacts.
Yep.
But you're still, one's not enough. One's in the rubbish ton.
Yeah, exactly. And some of the things, I guess some of the takeaways for me there is you're doing direct mail, but the number of ways you're using it, which is really interesting. So if you're listening once again, Don's doing a direct mail campaign within his business, but then he's taking the information and he's serving it to them in another way as well. So the people that get the direct mail then get an email with a PDF, but also a video, and an option probably to drive traffic back to your website through that as well. Yeah. And then you add in a phone call, which is critical, because most people are procrastinators. They're not going to call you back. They're not going to. Their times are busy. So unless you capture them and get in front of them again via a phone call, they're probably not going to do business. Where you're giving them that opportunity to do business with you by calling them.
Well, we have our new clock range landing here in October this year. So it's a 20-foot container of little alarm clocks, so you can imagine there's a few in it. But this year is what we've done is one particular model that's been really popular. We've ordered an extra 900 of them, and we're going to courier one of those absolutely free to every one of our customers that buys clocks in New Zealand and Australia, along with our new catalogue and order forms. Then again, that catalogue will be converted to a web document, and when we convert it to the web document, we create a hyperlink. So